Good morning, boys and girls. We're going to talk today about capitalization again. We're going to add 5 more rules to the other 5 that we did in our previous exercise. So today we're going to talk about capitalizing proper nouns. We've talked about this before, and I'm sure that you recall it from earlier years when you've practiced it. So I feel that this part should be review, but just make sure that you are looking at your rules when you are following through and doing your exercises, and that'll help keep it in your mind when you're reviewing your own work, or if you're reviewing or critiquing someone else's. You can say, oh, remember, this needs to be capitalized. So what I want you to look at first is, if I can bring it up here, the rules. So if you look at your rules, you have these in your ELA binder, that a common noun is a general name of a person, place, or thing, or idea. Don't forget, common noun is not capitalized. A proper noun names a particular person, place, or thing, and it is capitalized. So the first rule deals with people's names and initials, and the fact that if you have an initial that stands for like their middle name, or if they go by their first initial, middle initial, that those would be capitalized, as well as their first and last name. Okay? The second part deals if there isn't a title, like doctor. You would capitalize the title, or you would capitalize the abbreviation if it's used to directly address that person. Now, if you just said the doctor and name them, then you wouldn't capitalize doctor. But if you said Dr. Such and such, then doctor would be, because that's a part of their formal name that you would use. Okay. So here it shows you where it says do not capitalize a title. It stands for the person's name. Henry Hudson, while he was Captain Henry Hudson, if we were addressing him as captain, we would capitalize it. But if we're just addressing that he is a captain, then captain in that instance would be a common noun. Just the same way as if you had someone's name and they were just a doctor. You're addressing what their role is for their work, but you're not addressing them as that. You're not saying Dr. So-and-so, you're saying so-and-so is a doctor. Okay? And there is a difference when you do that. Rule 3 deals with adding academic and or abbreviations due to being a junior or a senior, or the third. So PhD deals with what type of degree they have, so that would require capitalization. So would MD, because they're a medical doctor. Rule number 4 shows that family relationships, when used in titles or as substitutes for a person's name. So when you are talking about someone, if you say, my father went to the ski resort, then you wouldn't capitalize father. But if you talk to him, if that is how you address your father, if you say father went to the ski resort, then you would capitalize it. And in that instance, in that sentence, you would capitalize it anyway because it's at the beginning of the sentence. But you only capitalize words such as father or uncle if that is how you address them. If you're just telling me that that's your father or that's your uncle, then it would still be a common noun. So you have to read the sentence and see how it is being placed in the sentence to know whether or not you're going to need to capitalize it. Okay? Notice in this one it says do not capitalize words that show family relationships when they follow a possessive noun or a pronoun. So Jody's uncle took photographs of the voyage. So we're talking about who he is in the relationship of the family, but that is not how she refers to him. She doesn't call him uncle. If she did, then this sentence would have to be written differently. Okay. The last rule is one that you should all know from way back, probably second or third grade. You always capitalize I. If I is by itself, it is capitalized. Just remember that. No I stands alone without being capitalized. It always wants to be seen. So any I by itself, capitalize it always. Okay? All right. Now, let me show you this week's assignments. Exercise 3. You're going to take your Cami and 1 through 10, you are just going to go above it and you are going to mark over it. Okay? So Mrs. Lucy Jojola, you're going to capitalize the M, you're going to capitalize the L, you're going to capitalize the J. All right? You're going to do that for the first 9, each one of them. Dr. Claude C. Eilis, you're going to capitalize the D because that's a doctor, that's part of his name. Capitalize the C in Claude, the C for his middle initial, and the I. Okay? On 10 through 20, you are going to retype them. I would use about 16-inch font, retype them on the line. Be very careful when you are using it so you make sure that you get the right word and that you capitalize the correct letters. All right? All right, let's look at exercise 4. Exercise 4 takes it a different way and has you to see how it is in a sentence structure. In this instance, it wants you to rewrite the sentences. We're not going to rewrite all of them, just 7 through 10. Again, you're going to use Cami. You're going to go over the top of the letters that need to be capitalized. So in the first one, in 1497, you would capitalize the K in King, the H in Henry. England is already capitalized, which is good because it should be. Hired a navigator. Now, navigator is not capitalized because it is just the type of work he did, and it is a common noun in this sentence. Okay? Look at number 2. This navigator, John Cabot, landed in what is now Canada. While navigator is before John Cabot, it is still a noun. It is still a common noun, I should say, because it is still just telling what John Cabot did. It is not saying navigator John Cabot. If they had said that, then you may have needed to capitalize it. But in this instance, you would only capitalize the J and the C. Okay? In number 3, the Italian navigator, Veranzo, okay, so here we go. He is by being navigator Veranzo. So N would be capitalized, V would be capitalized. Okay? All right, finish 4 and 5 and 6 using Cami. And then I want 7, 8, 9, and 10 to be typed out using Cami. Okay? All right, so there are 3 exercises that you're going to be working on for Tuesday's assignment. So make sure that you refer back to your rules and that you have everything ready to go so that we can go over it on on Wednesday's meet. All right? All right.